Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ejg3 show. I'm your host, Eddie Gallagher. Today, I will share my thoughts on the Ravens versus Chiefs game and also Eagles versus Packers game, and also review my Week 1 NFL bets. Let's start with the Ravens Chiefs game. Um, what can I say? That game was an absolute thriller. Uh, you saw both teams look a little rusty. Um, that's expected in Week 1. Uh, Let me just start with this. On the Chiefs' perspective, Rasheed Rice, Travis Kelsey, Isaiah Pacheco, and Xavier Worthy, they have some speedy guys. And that Xavier Worthy, that rookie, oh my gosh, is he fast. And he was, I mean, he's a skinny guy, but he's fast. I mean, he is dangerous when he gets the ball. I mean, he had one rushing touchdown and also one receiving touchdown. And when he got the ball, it was like nobody could catch him. I mean, he's like Tyreek Hill, but maybe even faster, which that could be scarier. And I thought the Chiefs, their offense is unstoppable at times because when I watch them play, they do everything the right way. They don't make mistakes. They don't have careless penalties. And I just think this team's tough to beat. And Patrick Mahomes does what Patrick Mahomes does. It's just make timely plays after time after time. I thought at the end of the game, he on third down, the ball got tipped. He literally had to moss a defender to get that ball back. Or else that ball would have got intercepted. Ravens would have great field field possession. And I just think the Chiefs, to me, are just good on all, not just offense but defense. That defense was flying, and you know the Ravens' offense could not have gotten anything done in the first three quarters, and the Chiefs. I mean, Chris Jones. I mean, he bullied that offensive line for the Ravens, and I just said to myself, "Gosh, are they really going to win the Super Bowl again?" Because they look unbeatable. And I mean, look, I Mahomes will throw an interception at times, but he it just seems like this offense is even better than last year. Obviously, better than last year's offense because last year's offense was a disaster, and they still won the Super Bowl. So they're just going to be a hard team to beat all season long. But I was just so impressed with that Xavier Worthy, the rookie out of Texas. I mean, when he just got the ball, no one could stop him. And I'm just like, can defender catch him? Seems like they can't. Um, I also want to talk about the Ravens' perspective real quick. Um, I thought the offensive line was terrible. I thought Lamar Jackson was literally running for his life because the O line could not protect. Now, granted, they do have new offensive linemen and a new, um, some left for free agency, but Lamar was just running for his life. And not joking, I was watching the game with my father and my brother, and they seriously have three illegal formation penalties on the opening drive. I'm like, are you kidding me? driving on them, but you're getting put back because illegal formation. It's like these guys are not on the same page here, and I thought they were terrible. And I think that's a big concern for the Ravens because they got manhandled by the Chiefs D line, and I think the fact that Lamar Jackson had 16 rushes for 122 yards. I mean, he was the team's leading rusher by far. I mean, Derrick Henry who had a good night. I mean, had a touchdown, 46 yards. I mean, he is getting older, but I mean, I still think Ravens on 3rd and 1 situations, they will be pretty successful easily because you don't know who's getting the ball, Lamar or Derrick. So, but I thought the Ravens defense, they looked good. I mean, it's hard facing the Chiefs offense because you're going to give up a lot of points because obviously Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, they just make it look easy. But I actually thought they played pretty good uh the whole night. But I don't want to make excuses because Lamar Jackson is a great player. But I'm kind of curious, why isn't he throwing down the field? I mean, it's like he was throwing short passes all game long, like screens, and the Chiefs were like stopping them. And I just was like, gosh, did Lamar get better at throwing the football? I'm not sure. I thought that was going to be his progression this year, but it didn't seem great. I mean, you talk about the last possession, you had a miss, a wide open Isaiah Likely, the pylon play. Obviously, Isaiah Likely got a little injured. I thought he injured his shoulder, but by the way, he bowled out uh that game. And but I was like, Lamar, you gotta hit him. Just lead him to the pylon. You have him wide open, and he just overthrew him. And then you also had Dave Flowers wide open in the end zone. You overthrew him, and then obviously the last play of the game, Jackson returned to Likely, who looked like he made this unbelievable catch. Turns out his foot was on the line. Obviously, you got to make the right call, and that was the right call. But I just saw Lamar Jackson played poorly. I thought he looked sloppy, and 16 rushes in week 1. I mean, you're going to get hurt. You need to learn how to slide. Now, granted, he was playing the Chiefs. He wanted this game badly because I think he wanted to turn down the sayers of, oh, you can't beat the Chiefs. And during the interview, so someone asked, hey, Chiefs are your kryptonite. And he was like, no, no, no. Chiefs are not my kryptonite. So, but Lamar Jackson, he's still a great quarterback, but he needs to learn how to throw downfield. And look, we are going to judge Lamar Jackson not on week 1. We are going to judge Lamar Jackson in December and February. And look, obviously, I didn't think he had a great game in my estimation. I mean, I get it. The stats say he had a great game. I did not. I mean, I thought the first 3 quarters were ugly, and I thought the Chiefs really did not push it all the way. I think they laid back, playing prevent defense, but I was not impressed with Lamar Jackson's performance for the Chiefs. Although the stats say he played a good game, I thought he looked a little rusty. I thought the offensive line looked rusty. But hey, what are you going to do? And by the way, the fourth down decision by Harbaugh in the first half. Look, you're going to have to go for it against the Chiefs. You have to be aggressive. I like the mindset. But I still think the Chiefs and the Ravens will be in the playoffs, probably get to the division round, and let's see what happens. But the fact that the Chiefs outplayed the Ravens, in my opinion, majority of the game, that's concerning. Uh, Let me go to the Eagles and Packers game. Another great game. A lot of offense played in Brazil, and I thought I get it. They're trying to expand the sport, make it more popular, but I'm just not a fan. Uh, to me, the field looked awful. Everyone was slipping, and if the field is not in great conditions, you could get someone really, really hurt. So the NFL is lucky that no one really got seriously injured, like an ACL or Achilles sort of injury. But I just think just play in America, play Philadelphia, play in Green Bay. I don't love the fact that they're going out to Europe and Brazil and mm, but you know what? Hey, it's business. Got to make money. But I'm just glad that no one seriously got injured for a whole year because it could have been. Uh, I want to start it off with the Eagles' perspective. I thought the first two drives were scary. You had an interception and you also had a kind of a fumble snap on the center and Jalen Hurts from the shotgun. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the Eagles are going to get blown out. And I thought, okay, all the rumors that we heard, Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, some rumblings. I thought, oh my God, that's true. And it looked like it on the field. And I just thought, oh my gosh. But the Packers, they couldn't get an answer. I mean, they scored field goals, but I thought they didn't take advantage of, hey, the Eagles are turned the ball over twice and we got 6 points out of it. Uh, Not great, but the Eagles got lucky. Jalen Hurts came back with a touchdown to Saquon Barkley, who, by the way, in his debut, had an excellent game. I think Saquon Barkley really puts pressure on the defense. I mean, you got Jalen Hurts who can run. You got obviously Saquon that can run. You have Devontae Smith on the outside. You have AJ Brown on the outside. They have a loaded roster, and obviously I didn't think their defense was that good. Friday, but they got some dudes, and I just think the Eagles they're lucky they won. And which, by the way, in the NFL, all you have to do is win, baby. But I thought Jalen Hurts in the second half slowed down. Now he did make two better interceptions, obviously. The first drive and then the one in the red zone. I mean, it's like, what are you doing? Why are you throwing that ball in that area? But um, he had a clutch final drive. Uh, but I just thought the Eagles looked a little, I don't know, rusty in the first two drives, and then Saquon just carried them, which I think he will be. He's on my fantasy team, so I'm happy. Uh, but I think they are lucky that they escaped with a victory. Um, Let me go to the Packers' perspective. Um, I thought they need to improve in the red zone. I mean, like I said before, Eagles turned the ball over twice. They could not score touchdowns. They scored field goals, and that's important in the NFL today. I feel like field goals are a win, and the fact that the Eagles stopped them, that brings life to your offense. But they could have put this game away easily in the first quarter, but they didn't. And I think they need to improve on the red zone offense. Um, because overall in the game they scored three field goals. And you just you just can't do that. But obviously, Jordan Love had a terrific game. We'll get to his injury later. I think their wide receivers are Dobbs, Dodson. They're just very talented. Uh, their defense, they couldn't stop a nosebleed. I mean, it felt like once the Eagles got into a groove, they just could not be stopped. And they were just letting the Eagles score at will. And I just think the Packers, now you have to play good defense because Jordan Love could be out multiple weeks. Speaking of Jordan Love injury, we still don't have an update, like a full update. I mean, sources say that he could have a sprained MCL, which he could be out 3 4 weeks, given the time. But yeah, I mean that's just disappointing. You have a great quarterback gets injured in the final play, trying to make a play, but uh, I didn't think it was because of the field. I just think because he got rolled over. Um, but it's disappointing. Because he's one of those young QBs that's on the rise, and I think he's definitely from watching yesterday, Friday. He's a top 10 quarterback for sure, maybe even top 7. Uh, but I thought the Eagles and Packers. It to me, it was a coin flip. Brazil, weird game. You know, could could that affected the defense? Maybe, but usually when you're jet lagged, it would affect. I would think it would affect the offense, but no, the offenses in between these two teams were unstoppable. Let's just say, and yeah, I think the Packers will be fine. They have enough weapons. They just gotta have Malik Willis be a give them 2 wins, be 2-2, have Jordan Love come back, and then you're all fine. You're good. Uh, but yeah, hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he's not out the whole season because he's a hell of a player, and I want him on the field. Now let's go to my NFL Week 1 bets. Let's try to make some money. My first bet: Houston -3 versus the Colts. Obviously, division game on the road, but I'm trusting CJ Stroud because I think the offense, he has a lot more weapons. I also haven't seen Anthony Richardson play, but I know Shane Steichen, he's a great offensive coach and he's a good coach. But I'm just trusting my guts. The better quarterback, Houston -3, is a good bet. I know a lot of people are betting the Colts. I just don't know who the Colts are, which, by the way, that's a scary pick, but I'm trusting Houston will win by at least 7 points. And my second bet, Seattle Seahawks -6 versus Denver. You have Bo Nix making his first start against the 12th man in Seattle, which that is not an easy place to play. I think Seattle Seahawks, they have DK Metcalf, they have Tyler Lockett, they have Kenneth Walker. So they still have a lot of good weapons on the outside. I just trust Seattle just kind of beating up the Denver Broncos pretty easily. Uh, so I think Seattle Seahawks -6 is side. My last bet, Lions -3.5 versus Rams. Rams have a lot of injured players that are not playing. You still don't have Aaron Donald. Obviously, he's retired, but I still think the Rams, Jared Goff, I believe there's a stat saying that he's the most profitable quarterback last year. So I'm trusting that the Lions will win handily in Detroit, which I think the fans they will roar. You know, they love that team so much. I just think Lions are to play. I think the Rams will score quite a few points, but I just don't know if they have the depth. Uh, and Lions they have a lot more weapons. They have the defense, which hopefully that's improved. But I just think the Lions are definitely the side. I'm only betting 3 games because obviously week 1, uh, I almost took Carolina versus the Saints, but who I believe the line is 4, Saints -4. I almost took +4 Carolina. Uh, I think if you're going to bet the Dallas versus Cowboys game, I would say Dallas money line. Because you don't know who Deshaun Watson is, and but obviously Cleveland has a great defense, so I'm staying away for those 2 games. But I believe Dallas and Carolina both win those games. Um, but I just think this week 1 it's going to be an experiment for all games. I mean, you saw the Ravens offensive line. That's huge. I think what offensive line will be in great shape in week 1. I think that's a difference in week 1. Um, but a lot of great games. Um, the Bills Arizona game, obviously, Bills are favorite 6.5. I stayed away from that game. I don't know what the Bills wide receiver looks like. I also don't know the shape of Arizona. I mean, people say they're going to be good, but I'm not sure. So I stayed away from those games. So let me repeat: Houston -3 versus Colts. Seattle Seahawks -6 versus Denver. My last bet: Lions -3.5 versus Rams. Week 1, let's go. Enjoy football. I'll see you next time. Please comment in the comments.